A final reflection. I have got to play this, as painful as it is. Naomi Wolf, she has a new book. It's about to come out called Outrages, which is on gay rights in the 19th century. And she contends that dozens of men were executed in Great Britain for having homosexual relationships. And she said this because there was a term in the records that she was looking at called death recorded. And she goes on the BBC, and unfortunately, in other countries, the journalists actually know stuff. As someone who has been interviewed in almost every country, I will tell you, when you are interviewed in Britain, when you are interviewed in Amsterdam, you are talking to a different level of human being than when you are interviewed by journalists here. They just know a lot of stuff. And so she has these things of gay people being executed because it says death recorded, and she goes on the BBC, and this is what the interviewer does to her.
Death recorded. I was really surprised by this, and I looked it up. Death recorded is what's in, I think, most of these cases that you've identified as executions. It doesn't mean that he was executed. It was a category that was created in 1823 that allowed judges to abstain from pronouncing a sentence of death on any capital convict whom they considered to be a fit subject for pardon. I don't think any of the executions you've identified here actually happened.
Well, that's a really important thing to investigate. What is your understanding of what death recorded means?
Death recorded, this is also from, I've just read you the definition of it there from the Old Bailey website. But I've got here a newspaper report about Thomas Silver, and also something from the prison records that show the date of his discharge. The
prisoner was found guilty and sentence of death was recorded.
Yeah.
But the jury recommended the prisoner to mercy on account of his youth.
See, I think this is a kind of, when I found this, I didn't really know what to do with it, because I think it's quite a big problem with your argument. Also, it's the nature of the offence here. Thomas Silver committed an indecent assault on a 6-year-old boy.
Unbelievable. You know, when I was a kid, they used to play reruns of I Love Lucy with Lucille Ball, and I couldn't watch it because I couldn't stand how humiliated Lucy would be when Ricky came home and found that she had her foot stuck in the wastebasket. Like, I can't watch the movie The In-Laws, which I thought was a very funny movie. I found excruciating. I find it really difficult to watch people being humiliated. It's just not my sense of humor. I looked at this thing. I could barely listen to this thing. However, I challenge anyone to find any major statement by a major feminist that actually has anything to do with the facts. I mean, this, what I'm saying is I don't like Naomi Wolf. I don't think she's a good writer. I don't think the things she said have been true. But I don't think any of these people, Gloria Steinem, any of them has said is true. I think that when you live in a society that does not elevate motherhood as the first profession, you live in a society that will ultimately disrespect women. That's what I think. And I think feminists have made that possible, and I think they should be held to account for it, but they should certainly be held to account for lies. I can barely stand to look at it. I think this is what feminism is. I actually do. I think this is representative of feminism. And I just think it has been a pack of lies from the very beginning.